Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at the top 10 cores for the Open Great League. Today we're going to take a look at basically two Pokemon, where at least one of them is going to be buffed for the upcoming season, that work really well together. So this video is more designed for you to help. They have a little bit of help towards team building, where you have like two Pokemon that work together. You just need to put a Pokemon in the middle and you're going to have a great team. And yeah, if you enjoy this type of videos, would really appreciate it if you could leave a like on this one and also subscribe. Also let me know down below which other Pokemon would you like to see a core with. Maybe I'm gonna make a part 2 of this one. If you want to see that, again, let me know down below. And we can start right into this video with the first core for today, which is going to be around the Shadow Empoleon. This is going to be a very interesting Pokemon that got buffed quite significantly with the addition of Metal Sound and the buff to Drill Peck on it, which will allow it to be one of the best and strongest Pokemon for this meta. It has a great typing and a very unique typing in Water and Steel, while also again having great coverage in the Hydro Cannon and the Drill Peck, which will allow you also to hit something that kind of usually would be a bit difficult for you to deal with. For example, grass type Pokemon don't really enjoy the Drill Peck. Of course, the Steel typing would usually have the weakness to fire, not really with the Water typing itself, but with Hydro Cannon you're going to be able to cover it up as well. Fire type Pokemon a little bit tricky, Drill Peck can still cover it, so it actually can cover its own weaknesses quite well. But it works also quite together with the Gligar, which is a Pokemon that's going to be able to double resist the ground typing that is still a weakness and still deal with a fighting type Pokemon that is also a weakness to it, which means this core is kind of cool. I could even see still that maybe you want to run Aerial Ace on the Gligar. It's like the one kind of issue for this core. Without the nerf to Aerial Ace, this Pokemon would have been even more fitting to the Empoleon, but it's still a very, very good one there. Alternative options, by the way, would be also something like the Drifblim, but if we're going to take a look here at this one, we're going to see here the breakers and how this team kind of performs. Annihilate with Ice Punch can be a bit of a trickier one. There, for example, if you're going to have the Astonish Drifblim, you would have an alternative option for it, which would work out for it as well. Otherwise, this team works out really, really well. Again, fighting type Pokemon is like kind of the main weakness, plus like, I guess, ground type Pokemon for the Empoleon, and either Gligar or the Drifblim would work out both really, really well here. I also kind of want to showcase that Gligar, even though it got nerfed, still has quite a lot of potential for this season. Guzzlord has, in the one-shot scenario, as you can see here as well, one of the most ridiculous win rates that I've ever seen, with the Dragon Tail buff, which I don't think is going to be happening like this. I think it's going to be 12 energy, but we're going to see on how it's going to be actually. This Pokemon is going to be ridiculous in the Open Great League and a Pokemon that you really want to have. And looking at this kind of inspired me to make maybe a video towards like the Pokemon with the most broken win rates for the upcoming season, because there are quite a few that I see, especially in the two-shade scenario, being quite ridiculous, and with that, yeah, very strong to use. So maybe I'm gonna make a video towards that for the most broken Pokemon, I guess, for the new season. But yeah, let me tell you, here there's gonna be a few more Pokemon that I actually think would fit into that as well. But also a Pokemon that fits towards the Guzzlord is going to be the Clodsire. It's not really fact that you would not really be surprised about. Like, this Pokemon is really, really good together with it. The only weakness that they have in common is going to be the Ice type weakness, which I'm interested in, because I do think that Ice type Pokemon are going to be better next season with the meta that we have. But as you're gonna see here, the only real breaker is like Piloswine. Steelix you can still deal with Clodsire as well. You have Earthquake still on it. Yeah, Steelix I guess is actually the worst Pokemon for you to deal with because of Dragon Tail and the breaking side damage on the Guzzlord, and then you're going to have the Clodsire, which is going to take super effective damage from that Earthquake, but the rest is really not that bad. And you see as well on the left side, this team looks really, really nice. Like, this core looks really, really nice here as well currently. Darkspan, again, a Pokemon I don't think is going to get buffed the way P-Poke describes it here. P-Poke has 9 energy for this. I think it's going to only get up to 7 energy for Charm. Anything else I cannot really see. But no matter what, this Pokemon is going to get a little bit of a buff with a change that they did towards it, which I don't think was really necessary. But as you're going to see here, this is a Pokemon that you can pair quite well with a Jellicent. If you don't want to run Darkspan, you can also run the Wigglytuff here. I just didn't really want to have like both of them in one video, so that's kind of why I left it out. But Darkspan is going to be very, very cool here with that update. A Jellicent, a Pokemon that's going to be mainly weak against like Dark and I guess Ghost and Grass type Pokemon and Electric Pokemon. There are quite a lot of weakness to it. At least the Dark typing you're going to be able to cover up with the Darkspan. This is actually the main weakness of the Jellicent. I suppose Hex as well as Shadow Ball are going to be resisted on those as well. Yeah, again, I do think that actually maybe Wigglytuff is even a better core together, but Darkspan is the better Pokemon if it changes the way P-Poke suggests here. But yeah, as you can see here, this is going to be a team that works out quite well together. Venusaur is going to be the main core breaker. Corviknight, not that much either. Like, yes, they have payback, but you're still going to have some play with the Jellicent against it, especially in the 2 shields. Wigglytuff, not really a core breaker either, and the rest, I guess, Togedemaru, Magnezone, those Pokemon can definitely break this core, but they are very, very rare. I think that Venusaur is definitely the worst one here. Basti is going to be next. This is going to be paired with Venusaur, which just had as well. Venusaur got access to Sludge this next season, which is going to be a move that I suggested, and I think it's a great addition to this Pokemon because it's going to make it faster, while also not really giving up too much power with that either. And this is going to be a perfect core that we saw already in earlier stages of the GO Battle League with Victory Bell instead of the Venusaur, but this is going to be nearly a perfect core here. Steelix, again, one of the bigger weaknesses to it, and Kommo-o as well. Corviknight, I think it's going to do still alright for the Bastion. I know that it's going to be a little bit, like, it's running now the move Payback, which is going to be a bit more better there for it. But I think in the 0 shields, still Bastion going to come up on top there. And so maybe as like a Pokemon that you have as a say-so for this core, it should be a Pokemon that really pairs well as well still with the Venusaur, so not really an ABB style line, but more something that works out well with Venusaur and Bastion, more like ABC. For example, a Sableye could work out here quite well. So yeah, that's going to be it for this one. Let's move on to the next core, where we're going to have Turtonator, and Turtonator really benefits from having a lot of shields. So let's have a Pokemon that's a bit bulkier that really benefits from the fire typing and also some of the other types of this Pokemon, which is going to be Azumarill. Azumarill doesn't need shields. Turtonator definitely enjoys the shields here, but Azumarill's main weakness is going to be Pokemon. There are, for example, like Steel type, which cannot hit with your charge moves at all. Turtonator can deal with that. Azumarill's other weaknesses like Poison, it's kind of more neutral, but they kind of work out quite well as well against like those grass type that Azumarill doesn't want to face. On the other hand, we have Turtonator, which is mainly weak against rock. Azumarill can beat with the Bubble, especially super effective, as well as ground type. Bubble super effective, and Ice Beam super effective. So yeah, you won't have that kind of benefit there. The rest of the weaknesses are actually kind of nice for Turtonator, like Fire and Dragon is a great typing defensively. Bastiodon is going to be one of the bigger answers here to this team. I could see even some play of instead of Ice Beam going for the Hydro Pump, because I don't think that grass type Pokemon going to be that common next season, so you don't really need the coverage there. And yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting core here. There are a few like small breakers, but not really. Again, Blasters are right for the Azumarill. It depends on how much energy you have as well on the Turtonator with the Dragon Claw damage. Really depends, but I think it's going to be a cool core together. Next up, we're going to have Kommo-o. This is going to be a Pokemon that is going to be very good. I think it's going to be one of the coolest Pokemon for the next season, a Pokemon you have to prepare for. And it fits quite well together with the Empoleon, which is already in earlier stages, but I kind of want to add it here again. Those two work really well together. Kommo-o main weakness is going to be Flying and Fairy, like Dragon as well, everything resisted by Empoleon. Empoleon's main weakness is Ground and Fighting, which is not really the thing that Kommo-o is going to be able to beat directly, but it's not that Kommo-o is going to be weak to it either. So at least defensively, Empoleon is the best for it. Offensively, Kommo-o can still deal with most of the things. Main core breaker is Dedenne, by far. Dedenne is going to be a Pokemon though as well that you have to be a bit mindful of. What I could see as well is this being a core in the backline. Having a Pokemon in the lead, for example, that is going to be very good against Dedenne, having saves off maybe Empoleon and then Kommo-o in the back could work out quite well. But yeah, this is going to be it for this team. Gastrodon. Gonna get actually a bigger buff than I expected. Having an average rating of 566 is kind of crazy. Water Pulse now recommended on this Pokemon, which I do think is going to be the case as well. 50 energy Water Pulse would be really nice for it. Getting the move a little bit faster, but also giving you coverage against Pokemon like the Gastrodon is going to be great. And so here we're going to have the Bastiodon again together with this Pokemon, as Bastiodon has coverage for grass types with the Flamethrower, and also against the flying types, which you still kind of struggle against. So yeah, I still think it's going to be a very cool team. The main weakness for it is honestly definitely the Kommo-o. Some fighting type Pokemon can be a bit tricky, but then again, have this Pokemon in the lead, the Gastrodon, have the Bastiodon in the back to trap in, for example, those flying type Pokemon. And have a Pokemon in the back that kind of works out well with the Bastiodon together in order to deal with the weaknesses that you have there. Like something like maybe even a Wigglytuff, honestly. A Wigglytuff would work really, really well with this, being a very much fast move orientated team here. But yeah, this is going to be a very cool core here, basically beating each other's weaknesses other than the Kommo-o here. Kommo-o you can still deal with though with the Gastrodon as well, it's not too bad. Yeah, still a cool core here. Gyarados, a Pokemon that I usually would like to call play with a different Pokemon here, but also similar typing. You have Stunfisk here. Stunfisk's main weakness is ground and grass. Both of them Gyarados can deal with, especially with ground. And so that's a very good core together. What I usually make a core with the Gyarados is going to be Pokemon that are from the Steel and Electric type, because they really fit together well. Having the double weakness to ground on one end, having the double resistance on ground to the one end, having the fighting weakness on the one end, having the resistance to fighting on the one hand. And then again, you have here Gyarados, which is going to be weak to electric types double, but you're going to be able to resist electric with the actually here with Stunfisk even better, but also with the, what's called electric and steel type Pokemon, like a Magnezone. So it's a really, really cool core together as well. But here, Stunfisk is going to be most likely the more meta core, so I kind of want to introduce that here. I do think that Gyarados mainly functions well as a Safe Swap. I think that's where this Pokemon is going to have the best kind of play, because of the energy generation that it's going to have next season and the versatility as well. Of course, electric Pokemon can be a bit tricky, but for example, have this team here, Stunfisk, Gyarados, and then have a Pokemon in the back again that's going to be weak to electric type Pokemon. Something like, I don't know, an Empoleon or something like this. And I think it would be kind of a cool team to run. Empoleon has also still the coverage against other grass types. Again, I don't think the grass type is going to be too common, but you still should be prepared. And so yeah, this is going to be a very cool core that I enjoy quite a bit. Murkrow is going to be next, and it actually kind of works well together with Steelix. The more I thought as well is maybe even going for Crunch over the Breaking Swipe, if you want to run Steelix as your Safe Swap for it. But those two work together quite well. We have Murkrow as like an anti-fighter and anti-ground type Pokemon for the Steelix. Those kind of function well. I think that Steelix is the best as a Safe Swap here for this team though, and have another Steel type maybe in the back. Maybe a Pokemon that doesn't really get killed by Fighting type Pokemon either. Maybe something like an Aegislash, Murkrow Aegislash core. Here and here first would be kind of cool, but yeah, this core together works out quite well. Again, I think it's kind of cool to have Steelix as a Safe Swap in this current meta here, but let's move on to the next core. It's going to be the final core for today. That's going to be Ninetales here, the Shadow Ninetales, which is going to have access to Weather Ball Fire. We're going to have Kommo-o together with it. Again, a Pokemon that we saw already early on. Kommo-o main weakness is going to be that Fairy type, in which you're going to be able to resist. And those two work quite well together, only having the weakness to maybe the Azumarill. But again, you could even run the Solar Beam on the Ninetales, and I think actually I would prefer something else over the Overheat. I would prefer either a Scorching Sands or even the Psyshock, or the Solar Beam over it, because you're going to have a bit better coverage against it. I'm not the biggest fan of a triple fire moveset here, but I still think that this is going to be a core that can work out quite well. I think Ninetales is kind of busted in the 2-shield scenario especially, but that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you want to see a part 2, let me know down below which Pokemon I missed, which Pokemon you want to see a core with as well. And again, there's going to be top teams eventually on this channel as well, so definitely stay tuned for that, and I will see you then. Bye bye.